Hello, welcome to my latest live stream. And we already have someone in the chat. WizGiz Entertainment. Hello, WizGiz. Thank you for joining me for tonight's broadcast. We're going to have a good one. I can tell you that much. Now, we're going to wait. Let's see, where should I start? You have any suggestions, WizGiz? Because I'm just going to look at Comicsgate Indiegogos right now. I looked at Colton Cox yesterday, a horror comic based on H.P. Lovecraft works, or rather in the same kind of genre, where this detective looks into supernatural incidents. Let's see. We have Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet. Oh, but what do we have down here? Jack Irons, The Steel Cowboy, issue 1 through 3, $11,010, huh? It just looks like new artwork. I've seen this before and covered it. All right. As I said, Cyberfrog is now at $628, doing well, and still has 25 days left. So this comic has a good chance of breaking 1 million. WizGiz, nope. WizGiz, cool. WizGiz Entertainment. What was the name of the book again? Sweet. Let's see. I'm assuming you mean Jack Irons, The Steel Cowboy, or, well, Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet. See, I think Jack Irons here just put in, the guy who created Jack Irons, The Steel Cowboy, just put in some new art here that promoted and stuff, because I remember looking through this or looking at it again, and I saw it had different artwork. It just made me think it was a new Indiegogo there for a moment. Too bad. I'm sure we have other stuff to look at. We have Oddity. And we have Carmen America, as well as Magic Cop, Drop Dead Legs comic, Rocket Gal and the Mole Man of Mars. And we even have Richard Myers, The Expendables Go to Hell graphic novel, which is made $263, so it's doing well. Are you planning to share? Thank you for telling me. That was stupid. Sorry, I was just trying to get off to a good point. As I see, the first one you were talking about at the very start of your stream. Let's take a look at it. The very first one. Colton Cox, right here. As I said, it's a supernatural horror comic. Well, it's an H.P. Lovecraft inspired horror comic with a detective who looks into supernatural incidences. I'm surprised you didn't. It's a new one and has 29 days left. It's already made some money. We can take a look inside of it real quick. As you can see, the artwork looks good. Very good looking artwork. Down here we have some more of this. Colton Cox. An occult noir graphic novel inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft and film noir from Matt Grotz. It's already made $1,444 of a $15,000 fixed goal. I'd say it's well on its way. With 29 days left, I think it will make it. Let's see. The first one. Okay. Okay. WizGiz Entertainment. I think I glossed over that. I usually am not into horror genre. Slowly getting more into it. I know. That's because, there's a lot of good horror out there, and I don't fault you for not being into it at first. Sometimes it takes a little while to get into such things. But here, I'm basically saying it's a good-looking comic book with some great-looking artwork. It's colored well. Is the colored part here and stuff. We can take a look at some of the monsters that'll be in this series. We have this guy. We have the original. What was his name again? The name. Our detective here is named Colton Cox or Colton Crocs. I'm just going to call him Colton Crooks. Colton here, our detective, is helping this man exorcise his wife who's been possessed by a demon. You can see their boy looking in on the exorcism while the man is basically trying to hold his wife. It looks like good artwork. Let's see. You can see some of the monsters with them being colorized over here, and as well as more of the things he's going to be fighting. Demons from beyond time and space, they say. As you can see, the artist here really can make some gruesome-looking monsters. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing. Here we have in the middle our detective, Colton Crux, I think. All right. We have you in here. Let's get over here. As I said, the artwork looks good. I already read through the sample of it yesterday or so when it first premiered, and I thought this looked like one great comic. All right, we looked at that a bit. I could read the sample again, but I can always do that later on. Have a little fun. Let's see. It's some other stuff. Let's see. There's the 8th. We have other stuff. Like the Oddity. And we have Peregrine Wings of the Falcon, which is, 13 days left. It's already made its goal, but it's made $13,150. We have the Dragon Guard, which is made $17,526. And as you can see, looking at the artwork here, this is made by, we're going to look at the Dragon Guard real quick here, just to look at a jaw-dropping tale of fantasy inspired by cartoons of the 80s and epic comics of the 90s from Kevin Sharp, who's well known for being a comics artist at Marvel and DC. About me. Dragon Guard artist Kevin Sharp here. I'd like to introduce you to Dragon Guard. Before I do, I want to tell you about myself. I'm a 25-year veteran in the comic industry. I've worked for Marvel, DC, Dynamite, Entertainment, Image, CrossGen, and all the others. I've drawn, for starters, I say. I've drawn some of the most popular characters in comics, from Thor to Extreme X-Men to Black Panther and Generation X and Nova, as well as Legion of Superheroes. Man of Steel, Katana, Shazam, and Arsenal. I've drawn cult faves like Vampirella and Army of Darkness. I just wanted to give you a heads up on who Kevin Sharp is. As you can see, his artwork here is top-notch and well worth funding for this comic. Let's take a look at the chat. Question. What are your thoughts on Timothy Lim? Do you consider him Comicsgate? I've been trying to research him, and I see he supports backs and books by Doug TenNapel and Anti-CG. But he's also backed creators like Richard C. Meyer and others. I'd consider him CG. I consider anyone who's basically helping comics in general, as well as Comicsgate, part of Comicsgate. But I can see how he basically, if he wants to support Doug TenNapel, that's fine if he wants to do that. Personally, Doug TenNapel, as long as he doesn't try to, even though he's basically anti-CG now, he's still a comic creator, and as long as he makes comic books, he'll get some of those people, he'll get some people back. But if he keeps opening his mouth, he'll probably keep driving people away. All he has to do is just give us good comic books, and I'll consider him a good comic book creator, even if he is anti-CG now. But that's mine. Timothy Lim. I have heard the name. Let's see. Timothy Lim. Does he have any books out? Because I keep hearing him being mentioned with Comicsgate. Or is he just like a live streamer who keeps mentioning Comicsgate on his live streams? I'm not quite sure. But I have heard of Timothy Lim, WizGiz Entertainment. All right. Now that we've done that, what else can we look at? Let's try over here. Messages. It looks like trying to look over at Twitter for a moment. Carmen America. You want to look at that? There's another book that I've looked at. It's got really good artwork. Let's see. Carmen America. Basically in the style of a manga, but very good artwork. Let's see. Carmen America, Volume 1. Superstar, super soldier, or superhero. A 56-page story about a girl next door and her rise to glory. From Timothy Lim. Yeah. Now I remember. He's done quite a few books. As he said, I've looked at his books and stuff like that. And, I have heard that basically in passing he's part of Comicsgate. But as you said, he's basically supported the Doug TenNapel. Here he has one of his books out. We can look at a few of them right here. The story. As you can see, our main character is this red-headed woman here who gets, hit by a bolt of energy from outer space. And it basically gives her the power to fly and shoot blasts of energy from her hands. But it also causes her, whenever she uses her powers, to have her hair turn blonde. Okay? Let's see if I can find Let's see. Made and printed in the USA, Carmen America tells the story of Charlotte Carly Vendors, a seamstress from Indiana who aspires to become a fashionista someday. She pursues all possible venues to make her dream come true, including joining the USO as a costume designer, dancer, and entertainer. It's easier said than done, however, and Carly grows more and more frustrated as her goals become seemingly unattainable and her role remains unnoticed. A twist of fate occurs during a tour of the troops aboard when a freak accident from the skies turns Carly into a living battery, supercharged and able to manipulate her own bioelectricity into weapons and granting her the ability to fly. And she becomes a blonde. That's sort of an important later. As you can see, it looks really good, and the artwork is good. Now, I prefer more American-style comics. But the art here is good, and this is the kind of artwork I'd probably see on Street Fighter, because it looks in the same style as the Street Fighter characters were drawn in. Well, Street Fighter 2 characters were drawn in. It looks like a good comic book, and Timothy Lim basically has some more talking about his different projects down at the bottom of this campaign for Carmen America. So we'll take a look at it. Mainly because, if I can get down there, a few things. Basically, he's done Black Ops USA GI, a book about a superpowered rabbit and his fellow animal compatriots who go around attacking terrorists. I mainly found this comic book very interesting because the artwork was incredible. I mean, yes, it's about animals and stuff, but I found it, Black Ops USA GI, incredible to look at with the great artwork. He's also done, books for IDW for Back to the Future, apparently. Here we have Doc Brown and his dog, Einstein, and stuff. He's also done Star Wars, and Star Wars is fine. No one can really say anything more than that Star Wars is just, been destroyed. And, I can see some people still like Star Wars, so he's at least proud that he's worked on Star Wars comic books. He's done Spider-Man, and he's done, Soulfinder, Timothy Lim. Yeah, I guess he's made the artwork for it, or at least worked on this Soulfinder right here. Otherwise, this guy has made a lot of campaigns, and he's a great artist. And, I do consider him part of Comicsgate, even if he seems at times to be supporting guys who are anti-Comicsgate. But then again, maybe the guy just wants to support great comics. But either way, I can get past that fact, because if you look at this artwork, look at it. It's so beautiful. I'm really, as long as he doesn't treat us like the way Doug TenNapel is treating his fans, will fully support Timothy Lim. Let's go back to the chat. Woof, woof. Hey, scum dogs. Let's rock. Huff. Welcome. Hail, Hoth Rebel 86. You, along with WizGiz Entertainment, are up here. Let's see. And the Trump parody titles, I was answering your question. And the Trump parody titles. Did he do Trump parody titles? Yeah. Well, as I said, as long as he doesn't treat his fans too badly, as long as he doesn't treat them the way SJWs at Marvel have been treating them, I don't mind him making a parody comic, especially of Trump. I mean, I support Trump, but hell, everyone deserves to be parodied once in a while. But either way, WizGiz Entertainment, Hoth Rebel 86, welcome to the Scum Dogs Kennel. Tim Lim could be a great earner for GG, but he's too rascally. Yeah, rascally rabbit. I hardly ever think of Star Wars anymore. It's sad. Yeah, it is. Hell, Chris. Hell, WizGiz. Yeah, thank you, Hoth Rebel 86. As I know, Star Wars has basically been destroyed. It used to be a boys' property that sometimes girls would get into, but now Disney wanted to turn it into a girls' property because they wanted to be able to bring everyone into this thing. And the one thing that'll destroy a property is trying to make something that's basically for everyone, because boys don't like girls' properties. They want boys' properties. They'll be happy with a freaking stick as long as they can sword fight. So, you turn Star Wars, something that's basically about guys fighting an evil empire in space, into a girls' property because you need that so badly. Well, we should be counter blessing somewhat. They haven't made Rey into a Barbie doll yet. They probably will, and they'll probably say give all her fashions for it. They haven't done that yet, but make no doubt if Disney or any of the Disney could do it, they'd probably be trying to sell us Barbie dolls. Click on his profile and click on his campaigns link. For his profile. Let's see. Timothy Lim. Let's look at his campaigns for a moment. There it is. All right. 5 campaigns, 5 comments, 21 contributions. All right. Yeah. Let's see. From the launch to the finish line, these were the campaigns he ran. Yeah. As you can see from Timothy Lim. Oh, if I put this, his campaigns right here. Carmen America, Volume 1. Black Ops Hair Trigger. Let's see. Campaigns I funded. Well, you can see. He's done Black Ops Hair Trigger, Soul Finder, Demon's March. Walmart, First Term, Part 2. Yeah. Basically parodying Trump there. Trump's Space Force by Timothy Lim. That's not too bad. I heard that a lot of people were praising these comics, even if they were parodies. I thought Trump's Space Force was a nice little comic, funny comic about Trump basically fighting aliens in space. But then again, I guess, is he trying to be for the SJWs, or is he just trying to be funny here? Because we have a president that you can make something fun with, like Trump's Space Force here. As long as it's not SJW and it's just basically not agenda politics, I don't mind a parody comic. But I got to tell you, I really like what I see here for Black Ops Hair Trigger and Soul Finder and Carmen America more than that stuff. But he has supported, well, and this is surprising, the other parody comic out there, or, well, Don Della Rose's Robo-Toad Wrecked Mandlet, the comic basically parodying Cyberfrog. I've heard that even Ethan Van Sciver said people are always doing parody comics. It's not that bad. All I can say is as long as it's a good comic book and doesn't have agenda politics in it, I mean, I would basically be not against it either. And it has great artwork in it. He's also supported Bigfoot Bill, too, like you said, Finger of Poseidon. So, yeah, he's basically supported it. Oh, he's also supported Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, Volume 1 by Gilbert Dirtres. I looked at this comic last week or so. It's got great artwork. It's a bunch of characters very much like the TMNT, and it looks like it looks like it has great artwork and a good story about aliens who look like creatures from a cartoon and stuff from the 80s. Right, Lily, Earthworm Jim, Wanpool, Tales from the Stacks, Battle Maiden, Knuckle Bomb. He supported a lot of good works. A lot of it's CG. Some of it isn't CG. Right. Let's see. All right. That's pretty good. We've looked at this. Let's see at the chat. Let's see. Top left campaigns tab. Hell, Hoth Rebel 6. Yep, I found it. WizGiz Entertainment, Walmite. WizGiz Entertainment. I'm liking his art style, but I'm wondering whether it was supposed to be pro or anti-Trump. I know. That's my question. I don't know either. I didn't support both books and I don't have them. And that's why I'm wondering whether to support him. Right. Parody is funny stuff like Weird Al Yankovic if done right. It's awesome. Yep. Yeah, right, WizGiz. Which one are you referring to again? Or you mean the title above the rodents? Or you mean the title? Yeah, I know. That looks like a good one. Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. Mainly because it looks very much like in the style of the TMNT. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know? And I don't know. Maybe in the future I'll back his books. Yeah, I know what you mean here. Right now, I'm a bit skimpy on money, so I'm only going to maybe support a few books in the future, maybe 3 at best, because after all, they're a bit pricey, but at least I'm getting great artwork for them. And the ones I'm getting are maybe Oddity, Cash Grab, and what's the other one here? Black Flag, Pineapple, Apple Implosion. Oh, I can't remember the name. I got to go look at it. Let's see. Black Flag from Dan. Dan Fraga. Whoops. What's it again called? Black Flag Pineapple Perception, coming on the 25th. And I can't wait for this book to come out because it looks like it has great artwork. He doesn't have any artwork up yet, sadly. We can't look at it. But you might be able to see the artwork here. From this, as you can see, the comic book from Dan Fraga just looks good. At least in this part here. Now let's go back. Perception, yeah, Pineapple Perception is going to be, I know, Dan Fraga. I know, I tried a little trying to remember his name because it just left my mind there for a moment. But either way, this comic is going to be good. Yeah, I was going to maybe support Kevin Eastman's Totally Twisted Tales too. That looked like one hell of a good book as well. And I can get it because you can buy a regular copy for $13 when supporting it. And yeah, there's various versions of it, some with various kinds of things you can buy with it as perks, like a skateboard deck. But I'm just going to get the easiest one. I just want an actual physical book some more, so that's going to be $13 to $14, and that'll be it. Because the other books I want to get are going to be $25 plus the tax and the money to ship it, which is going to be a pain. But I can cover it. They're not that steep in price. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat. You don't know about let's see, WizGiz, like that WizGiz. Kevin Eastman's coming out with a book, Hell, Fire, Fire, Hawk Rebel 86. Yeah. You don't know about it? I'm surprised. Let's go back here. Kevin Eastman made a book, and it's on Indiegogo right now. Let's see. Give Kevin, it's got art by Simon Bisley. Kevin East. And yeah, let's get this up. Come on. There it is. Come on. Kevin Eastman's Totally Twisted Tales. Look at that artwork. This is the cover. You didn't know about it? Let's see that at the various things down here. Let's see. Totally Twisted Tales unsigned for $13 USD. This is the regular copy. Then there's maybe I can get a better copy. Let's see. The one book, regular cover, unsigned for $13. You can see that the artwork looks pretty good for it. Now, the one I really would like to get, but it's so pricey, it's signed book. Look at this cover, a signed copy of this for $30. It's worth the price with artwork from Simon Bisley, written by Kevin Eastman. You can also get these punk rock buttons for $12. That's not too bad, but I mostly just want the book. The different perks. You can get a signed book and rock buttons for $42. You can also go get skate decks along with the book. And if you really you want it all, you can get the one it all bundle for $500. Get the skate decks with wall mounts and to get the buttons. You also get a bunch of Marvel comics as well that Simon Bisley worked on, as well as two variants of the graphic novella, what they're calling it yourself, the signed copy and the regular copy to read. But let's look at this artwork here. Huh? Look at this cover right here. I really love this cover. These characters here are awesome looking. Let's go back. Let's see what he says about Hawk Rebel 86. Let's see. He was still in the, I didn't realize he was still in the business. Yeah, he's still making books, and they're good ones too. Hail, Hawk Rebel 86. Fire. For sure, I'd be sick to have Kevin. I know. Thank you, and welcome, Finier Fire. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. Hawk Rebel 86, Cowabunga, WizGiz Entertainment. Skate decks, how big are they? Finier Fire, cool as hell. That looks like fun. As you can see, it does look like fun, and they're regular skate decks. You can use them as skateboards. You can see it compared to the graphic novel itself, that it's just your regular skateboard. And the various variants have artwork that has been used in the book and stuff, or as you can see, is artwork that's, been made for the skate decks that are based on characters in the book. Look at this artwork, just beautiful. And like that, or like that. As you can see, all right, that you 5 of them. Deck and wall mounts. You get 5 of them and stuff. Apparently in this one you only get 4 of them or so. Let's see. Skateboard decks and wall mount. 125 includes 1 book sign. Choice of 1 skateboard deck and 1 doll deck wall mount. Huh? Oh. Okay, only 1 for this. 125. I guess the 500 thing would be for all of them. You get all skate decks. So basically, you can have the skate deck as a poster on your wall. What it means is you can mount it on your wall and you can look at it. But actually, if you look at the skate decks really close up, you can see the little holes. You can actually turn this into a real skateboard. As you can see, you probably won't want to actually use it as a skateboard, but you do have the option of putting wheels on these and basically actually using it. These are beautiful looking. Let's go back to the chat real quick. So it's made of wood or fiberglass, and if you wanted, you can mount it on wheels on it. Yeah, and if you wanted, you can. Chris, I want a Scumdog's deck. I gotta look into making one of those too. It looks awesome, but I gotta find someone to be able to do it. Now, let's see this kind of like this. Yeah, you can mount it. I can't remember. What did you say? So it's made of. Let's see. You wanted to know if it was made of wood. Let's see. I assume they're made of wood, but they might be made of fiberglass. Let's go down here. There's Simon Bisley, the guy who challenge. Let's see. 1 book sign, 1 set of 5 punk buttons. Set of let's see. Includes art by all 5 skateboard decks, all 5 deck wall mounts. I don't know if it's made of wood or fiberglass. I assume it's made of fiberglass. Or honestly, now that I think about it, doesn't say. I wonder. Get a copy of the signed variant of edition of Totally Twisted Tales and Skateboard Deck, perfect for wall mounting. These boards feature art pulled directly from the book. Skateboard is deck only, does not include trucks, wheels, or grip tape. Okay, it doesn't say. I'm sorry. WizGiz. It doesn't say if it's made of wood or fiberglass. It really should honestly, but it does look like you can actually use it as a skateboard by buying the stuff necessary for it. I wonder if I go to the others, will I see it or not? No. I don't want to buy it yet. I'm just was trying to see here. Let's see, Totally Twisted Tales. Let's see if I get skateboard melting face skate. Doesn't look like it's saying anything. Let's see. These boards are skateboard deck is deck only, does not include trucks, wheels, or grip tape. Book signed. Sorry, WizGiz, I can't figure out. All right, let's see over here. All right, you're welcome, WizGiz Entertainment. Maybe it's over. All right, let's see. Here's one is WizGiz Entertainment. Holy cow, what a trip. Hoth Rebel 86. The Scumdog's art style seems like it might appeal to scrambling street scares. Thank you. I think it would. Maybe it's already mentioned in the intro vid or in the story. WizGiz Entertainment. I can look into it further later. WizGiz Entertainment. Hoth Rebel 86. Agreed. He agrees with you, Hoth Rebel. All right. Thanks for letting me know about this. Well, there's our answer. At least the part that's literally the same size as a skateboard. Pretty much. Yep. So yes, it is. They are skateboards, and you can use them as skateboards. And well, that is great that the creators of this book are offering such a great thing to get. Not just a pinup, but actually a pinup you can actually use for something. Well, it's a skateboard deck, but you can actually use it as a skateboard, or you can just have it on your wall and just have it be awesome. And that is great. We have 5 people watching this live stream, and I am happy. Let's see. Anything in the messages? That. All right, we have that. Ryan Land, back to Monster MD. Can't wait to read Comicsgate ammo. All right. Let's go back, not too much in hashtag Comicsgate just yet. Let's see. At least the part that's, all right. I thought for a second that it was like one of those tiny skateboard toys they sold in the 80s that you worked with your fingers. No, I would hope not. I mean, you could have that as a perk, but if you're going to sell it for so much money, you actually want a skate deck here. And I would love to get it. I always liked skateboards. I had one as a kid, but I never really used it all that much. It was so much work. Nowadays, I could maybe after a few years, maybe I could use it. But then again, it would take a lot of time to learn how. And well, I would love to have something that looked that good as a skateboard to learn how to skateboard on. All right, let's see. I was going to mention some stuff here. All right. And we have Carmen America right here. Let's go see some other stuff. As I said, another book I thought really looked good was Oddity here, which is made 1989. You can still back some of the books because they're in demand. Mainly, it's about a superhero who's a frog creature, much like Cyber Frog, except this guy's just a frog creature, and he lives in the swamp. Basically, it looks really good and really entertaining. Let's see. I was going to get maybe one of these copies of the graphic novel for 25 USD. And you can also get a variant cover that was made by Ethan Van Sciver, where it has both Oddity and Cyber Frog on the cover. Looks good. Let's see. I maybe go down here. The guy posted the variant cover for his book on this. Here it is. This is the variant cover that you can buy with Ethan Van Sciver's Cyber Frog on it. And doesn't that look great, huh? Let's see. StreamYard. If I could afford it, I'd buy the selection and just display them all on the wall. I'd do that myself. Honestly, I would. But I also want to buy. I'd probably buy, if I could afford it, I'd buy a second bunch of them as well, basically, so I could have them and use them as skateboards. I mean, yeah, it'd cost you $1,000 to get the same thing up over again, but I'd love to have skateboards made of those skate decks, and have other skate decks mounted on my wall. This gives entertainment, and it would be great to have those. It would be great to have, but wow, that would be so much money to spend. Let's see, what else can we look at? We have this right here. Here. Oh, yeah. Kickstarter has a few books up. Now, the thing about Kickstarter is that it has a few books that look good, and some books that don't look as good as Comicsgate. But they certainly have a lot of them on Kickstarter, I'll tell you that much. We could look at a few ones here, or go back to Indiegogo here. We looked at Oddity. Now, occasionally what I'd like to do on my show is I like to read the samples in funny voices. I'll give you an idea what the comic's like. I've already done Oddity a few times, and I don't see any other books. We have Xenotype Volume 1, and we also have Blade Devil, Ghosts of the Past graphic novel. Each of them have made considerable money. And we even have Anna, that Star Wars girl's, the Dynamite cover she made for Vampirella, which is made $24,096. Blade Devil is made 150. Blade Devil Ghosts of the Past graphic novel is made 156,584 with 11 days left. There's a great artwork in that book. Let's see. Let's ask our chat mate. Let's ask the chat. What do we look at next, huh? I think the featured tier includes all the variants. I know. That's the $500 one. And as I said, if I could, I'd spend $1,000 just so I could get the extra decks and use them as skateboards, as well as having decks that I could mount on my wall. But yeah, but it's $500 and you have to get it twice. It'd be so pricey. And it looks, but you'd have those books and you'd be happy with them. Books, the skate decks, as well as everything else that comes with it, you'd be happy with all of that. I want a cash grab fingerboard. Ooh, yeah. The artwork for cash grab, that would make one hell of a good skateboard deck, wouldn't it? Fingerboard. A fingerboard, yeah, as well as a fingerboard, as well as a skateboard deck. Featured tier was in reference to Oddity. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we went past that. I should maybe, let's see, go back. Featured tier was in Oddity. Yeah. One of the tiers you can get, the double download, as well as getting one of the variant covers, was that you could get the variant cover for one of these, for the graphic novel, for the Cyberfrog one there, as well as both covers for, 50 USD. You can just get one for $35. Looks good. And there it is right there. I did mention it, but I didn't mention it as a tier. I think I said it as a perk. It really doesn't matter. I think they mean the same thing, don't they? But as you can see, it's just good. But thank you for clearing that up, WizGiz here. Let's see. That's yeah. But either way, a lot of the hashtag comics gators should look into basically making stuff for their well, they already are making more unique stuff for their comic books to go along with the perks. Now, Hoth Rebel 86 mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when he was on a live stream that maybe I should do a Scumdog's leash, a Scumdog's dog bowl, and a Scumdog's collar for my customers to buy for their pets or just for fun. I mean, it would just be a dog bowl that you could probably use to give your dog or maybe use as a cereal bowl. But I figured it would be fun for them to have, as well as the collar, which might just be just a fun and out joke. Is already set in New Orleans? I think it's set in the Louisiana swamps, not quite New Orleans. Somewhere around in the same kind of area, down in the south, the southern, in the south of the American South. But I don't think it's set in New Orleans. There are other books that are set, though. But either way, it looks like but generally just in the swamp. Pretty much like the way Swamp Thing is just in the swamp. But either way, yeah. Would it be in New Orleans? I'm not quite sure. Did they mention that? I could read through the sample again to see if like this, but I think they mentioned it. It's just in a swamp. It's in a small town that's in the swamp, not New Orleans. But either way, it does look like it would be set in that kind of area, wouldn't it? Hoth Rebel 86. All right. AKA New Orleans. AKA New Orleans. Yes, New Orleans. Are there dogs in the Scumdog story? Well, are there dogs in the Scumdog story? I imagine, this is set in the future, and yes, there probably still are dogs there. Well, I imagine there are cyber dogs, and there are dogs that are mutated monstrosities. Hoth Rebel 6. Oh, yeah. All right? Yeah. Either way, let's see. We're having a good this, like that, and that. But either way, if you want to say about, I've been waiting for someone to ask me if there are dogs in the Scumdogs universe. Yeah. But remember, this is a universe that's basically off its rails with insanity and anything that could happen. So yeah, there are dogs, but there probably a lot of them are mutated monstrosities and cybernetically killing machines. Well, you can't have a comic book that has such unique looking characters and not basically make it as insane as possible. Hey, boys, Giz Entertainment. Would you like to see some of my artwork? I have some of it up on Twitter for an idea about it. I don't think you've seen any of my artwork yet, but I had people basically praise it and stuff. You can take a look at some of the characters that are going to be appearing in this book. Just give me a chat and see if you want to do it or not. All right. Now let's go back to Indiegogo right here. Let's see. I bring up a few new books. Let's see if I mention. Let's see. Cyberfrog. I'm going to see. Sometimes we bring up like down here. Are there any books we haven't seen yet? Let's see down here. Any new books? What I'm thinking here is if every time I mess around and try to bring something up, they might bring something new up in the down display area. There's also White Widow 4 and Riviera 2. This is something I looked at a little while ago. It's from Preston Poulter. And as you can see, the artwork looks pretty good. Though he used the same models for the covers, though. What it means is they look almost exactly alike, except they're a bit different. But otherwise, the artwork looks pretty good for these books. He's already made $1,511. He's already met his goal, which was $500. That's good for him. All right. Why is it called Scumdogs? I called my characters Scumdogs because the joke thing here is that what we have here is a bunch of guys who are professional athletes who basically transform themselves into monsters, basically compete in this future sporting events. Because, while regular people have their own sporting events like the Olympics, it doesn't bring in as much money as the Scumdog Olympics or Scumdog events, where these athletes have transformed themselves into monstrous creatures. See, what happens is these guys, they're called scumdogs because it's kind of considered kind of a scummy thing to transform yourself into a monster. And they're basically called scum dogs because they're basically just after the money. They're going after it. So they're basically just called dogs who just, well, basically in the same way as a mercenary who works for a government in Full Metal Alchemist would be called a dog of the military. These guys are basically dogging after that money. What happens here is a bunch of guys who were pro athletes get, disbarred from their sport. They decide to become supervillains. And, some of them are idiotic and some of them are just, and colossal jerkasses. It's just going to be fun to watch them try to basically become supervillains and destroy everything around them. They're also it's going to be a show the art to WizGiz. All right. Might as well. It's going to like it. Down here, we have this. I gave some of it to look at. Let's see what you, I'm going to use. Let's see. I'm going to show you some of my Scumdog characters. This is Hair Metal Doctor. Basically, he's a parody of what would happen if a heavy metal musician from a rock band in the 80s was crossed over with a doctor. He's basically a mad scientist. I used the inspiration from Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe, as well as, Ozzy Osbourne, the famous rock musician. As you can see, he has kind of Ozzy Osbourne's hair and wears the similar kind of glasses, as well as Toecutter from Mad Max. Why Toecutter? I thought Toecutter looked sort of like similar to Ozzy Osbourne, so I kind of basically worked his look into Hair Metal Doctor's design here. As you can see, he's strumming his electric guitar because basically he was in the spotlight here as he was about to operate on his, patient right here, and they suddenly felt the need to start rocking out. As you can see, he cleanly stored his scalpel he was about to operate on his patient there, cleanly on the dirty floor of his hospital, which is naturally also has a blood pack that's leaking blood out on the floor as well. But don't worry, I'm sure that floor is completely clean. It only hasn't been cleaned in 4 days. And we also, let's see what you think about it. All right. So they're called dogs because they're so low down and dirty, like stray dogs. Pretty much. That's why they wanted to get cash so much that they were willing to sell off their humanity and become monsters. But these guys get barred from the sport, so they end up becoming supervillains. Their backstory is all just a ploy and point to saying that we're just going to basically get them into hijinks and basically parody various storylines we've seen in 80s cartoons. That they'll go after, as I've said, a story where they're going after a MacGuffin. And you mean to say the sports authority doesn't put them in check? Are they allowing the use of steroids for these super athletes? No. See, the sports authority basically here is that they're different. The Scumdog Olympics and Scumdog sporting events are different from anything that ordinary people are using. What it is basically just one day, somewhere in the future of the earth, they develop the technology to turn people into monstrous abominations, either through cybernetics or through genetic engineering or maybe even through magic. And they decide to allow these people to compete in their own sporting events. What happens is that the Scumdogs here, at least our main characters, are at an event and they cause a disaster, basically end up setting the city on fire because they were using their powers. So they naturally get disembarred from the sport. So naturally, since they can't make money with their powers using it for making at sporting events, they just become supervillains. And what's funny is here's basically watching them go around destroying stuff, as well as fighting their arch rival. Their arch enemy being Deathmug's arch enemy. I should show you some more of the art here before we get to anything else. Let's go up here, and you can see the cover to. The cover I'm going to use for the graphic novel, at least the first variant. The purple guy here is Deathmug. He's basically the star of the show. His real name is Akachi Jojo. He was African. He was originally a runner from Africa, who decided, as he was seeing how much money these people who turned themselves into monsters and become scumdogs. He saw how much money they were making. He decides to forego his humanity and turn himself into a cyborg. So, his whole thing is basically he's a parody of characters from 80s cartoons. As you can see, he's purple like the Shredder. He's got a silver mask, much like Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. It's a skull, and that basically is to make you think of, Skeletor from He-Man. The gold trimming on his body is to make you think of, Serpentor from G.I. Joe as well. As I said, he's purple, much like the Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's just your basic arrogant asshole athlete. Only the fact now, once he gets disbarred from sports and basically ends up possibly living on the streets, he just says, "Oh shoot, I might as well just go around robbing banks and stuff." Now the two guys back here are his basically, Bebop and Rocksteady. They're a bit different, but they basically fill the same niche as that basically Dumb Muscle. This is Murder Mouth. As you can see, he's basically a parody on, on basically heavy metal musicians. He's basically got all mouth. He's got long hair and wears a hat, hat and stuff. I'm trying to make him as unique as possible. He's got like that and stuff. He wears a top hat, much like that musician known as Snake from what was it? Not Twisted Sister, but some Guns N' Roses. And over here we have Sloppy. He's just a big dumb brute with shape-shifting powers and stuff like that. The two guys behind them, they're basically just characters I added in because I can always I needed more characters than just these three guys, and you can see they're basically emerging out of a portal here, and they're basically running through a town. The town basically being a parody of the Smurfs. You see, these guys, I call them Snores, and they'll factor on later on into different graphic novels. But basically, I decided to make parodies of the Smurfs. So I decided to make these little purple men who wear, carrot outfits and live in carrot houses and stuff. Now, what they're doing here is basically the scumdogs have used their powers and they're basically suddenly warping through different areas and worlds. And basically, as they're running through these worlds, one of them being the Snores universe, they would destroy the Snores town and stuff. It's basically just making fun of this. What would happen if the Smurfs actually met anyone who actually would be able to kick their butt? How they constantly go up against Gargamel, even though Gargamel is basically a giant compared to them, but they still get the best of him. I try to give you as good artwork as possible. As you can see, the background is cartoony in its style. I try to make it as unique as possible. Now let's see. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Hoth Rebel 86. Does Scumdogs have any Captain Planet references? Oh, yeah. I'll get around to parodying that guy and the entire thing. You mean Slash? Yeah, Slash. I called him Snake, didn't I? Yeah, Slash. How basically, if you've seen the 80s, there was this rock musician or guitarist who was basically just all hair and you could never see his mouth, and he wore a top hat. So I basically decided to make a parody of him. You already have your own multiverse. Do they occasionally return to their own timeline? Yeah, they actually, at the end of the first part of the graphic novel, they do, and where they get disembarred from their sport. Sloppy will provide plenty of comic relief, I can already tell. Don't worry. He's basically one of these. Now, see, Sloppy here is just an idiot. One of his main jokes is basically something I saw from, have you ever heard of Hitman, DC's Hitman? How we'd have these basically idiotic versions of superheroes. There was one guy called Six Pack. There was another called Macayelente. He was a Mexican guy. There was other guys who was basically a parody of the Terminator. And there's one guy called the Shakes who really didn't have any powers. He just had this disease that made him shake a lot. Well, basically, I decided that one of the characters was Mike Calinenti, the Mexican guy. His joke was that he would basically appear behind people, and basically his joke was black comedy rape. He would rape the villain of the story. Now, my joke is basically here. Instead of basically appearing suddenly behind the villain and then raping them, and you hear screaming later on, basically Sloppy would appear behind the villain and then eat them alive. Yeah. You've heard of the comic book. It's called Hitman. It was made by Garth Ennis. but I've seen the characters and I read about them. Well, the joke for for the Mexican guy said, maybe I can do my own jokes similar to that. But instead of doing black comedy rape, I just have this idiotic blob monster appear behind people and eat them. What happens is that he suddenly appears behind the enemy, much like that. The guy looks behind him and then screams, "What?" And then Sloppy screams, "Sloppy!" And then we hear munching noises. Or we see him completely engulf the guy. I think they even made a movie or two based on the Hitman comic. Did they? If they did, I've never heard about them. I mean, probably just calling it a movie called Hitman doesn't mean it's part of the Hitman comic book universe. Well, part of the DC universe. I've never actually read the comic itself. I just read about the characters. And once I learned about these guys, I decided maybe doing my own running version of that joke, because I thought it would be just suddenly appearing behind someone. You can do anything that's really funny for it. All right. Oh, we lost a few guys, apparently. It doesn't matter. We'll just continue with this live chat and have a lot of fun. All right. But either way, I've heard about the Hitman comic book, and I thought it was really good looking. I need to read it, but I need to track down some maybe graphic novels of it, or at least trade paperbacks. Well, let's see this. We looked at that. White Widow, as you can see, the artwork looks pretty good. The one thing is you can clearly see the guy used models for it the same model, because the characters look exactly the same, only altered a bit. The artwork itself inside looks good, though. Well, what I can see right here looks pretty good. We'll look down here a bit. I think he had put up some artwork. Well, mainly this one here. This might just be another variant for the cover, and you can see the artwork looks really good for it. So I'm assuming he did good artwork for this. White Widow 4 and Guinevere 2. All right. Let's see. We can take a look at that. Maybe look at that. Let's see. Anything else we could look at here? There's Red Rooster. There's Starblades of Volume 1. That's trying to find something to look at here for us to look at. Oh. Here we have Adventure of Kim Jong. Let's just get the whole thing up. It's already made 2,461. Adventures of Kim 2 Sung and Best Korea. Okay, basically a parody of Kim Jong Un, and you can see funny and stuff like that. Let's see this. Not bad. Now, let's try to find some actual artwork, and I guess he's basically just using actual pictures here of people who were part of Korea. It's made its money. Look, wait. It's already going to be funny. It's already made 625 of a flexible goal. I wish there was more art here. We can just see they're basically using pictures and just making fun of Kim Jong-un for this own parody comic. But I heard it's making the rounds. It's Sailor Kim Jong-un. Well, parody of Sailor Moon. I guess I could read the comic here. Stuff. Or we could look at the trailer. This book is basically coming from Kami 3 Mark. One campaign. He's basically making this book to parody Kim Jong-un. So it's money. Let's ask what our chat thinks of this book, because I've heard about various comic live stream. Well, hashtag Comicsgate live streams talk about this book. Yeah. So Sloppy is the shapeshifter and also the one who eats victims. Yeah, he's basically what you get if Bebop and Rocksteady were just one character, but were even dumber. He just goes around screaming sloppy a lot and just he can say other words, but basically he just goes around eating people. Kim Il Sung. Is that what he said? I mean, in the book here it says Kim. It's supposed to be Il Sung and Best Korea, but it looks like 2 to me. I thought it was Kim Dong like that. But thank you. I had a chance to go do a stream with him to promo his book. It's a lot of fun. I want to hand out this little Kim's comic at the DMZ between North and South. Yeah. You realize that would be a very dangerous thing to do, but it would be a lot of fun. Yes, it's I as in India. I didn't realize that. It just looked like a 2 to me. I fear I must be getting it wrong. Kim Il-sung. All right, let's see. We can take a look at more of my artwork here and stuff like that. I should probably tell you about their arch enemy first. Here's a page showing Buick Starpoon, the guy in green with the pink pompadour with the little palm tree growing out of it. Basically, he's the arch enemy to Death Mug here. Death Mug basically being, as I said, the purple guy. Now, if you're wondering why he's called Death Mug, another word for your face is mug. Your ugly mug, get it? So basically, it's a parody on the old death face kind of thing. How, well, Darth Vader had a death mask. Basically, it's a parody with basically making it calling the main villain Death Mug. Now, Buick Starpoon is basically a parody of, Captain Kirk, James T. Kirk from Star Trek, as well as Zap Brannigan from Futurama. I tried to make it the most idiotic character imaginable, the ultimate parody of these kinds of characters. The brave starship captain who fights the enemies and stuff like that, and stuff like that. So I decided to make the most idiotic design for the character and give him the most idiotic name imaginable. I made him just your basic captain looking guy. A lot of these guys honestly end up having pompadours, much like Space Dandy from Space Dandy, the anime. So I gave him a pompadour. I made it purple. I gave him a little palm tree growing out of it to make it funnier. He's the captain of his own little starship, and he constantly ends up fighting Death Mug. And they basically end up just fighting each other. He's also a parody of another character from G.I. Joe, which is Duke. I basically gave him because he fills the same kind of niche as Duke from G.I. Joe. And if you're wondering who this guy is talking to down here, that is Supreme Commander Baby Fist. There's a parody of these commanders in these either in comic books or in space shows where they'd have a metal hand or something. I decided to make a parody of that and give him a little baby hand, as you can see here. All right, as you can see, the coloring here is really good. And you can see they're emerging through warps as they're basically traveling around, much like they traveled out of the same warp that basically smashed the Snorers. They're basically traveling through these different places, and they keep emerging out of warps and stuff like that. Here they're basically in the Australian outback at Hope Rock, the famous big rock in Australia. You can see I tried coloring as well as I could for a classic Marvel comic from the 80s and stuff. And here they're basically traveling through a parody of the Force Wall from DC Comics. They're not actually at the Force Wall, but there are a bunch of alien heads mounted to the wall, skulls and bug monsters. And basically they're sort of like in an ancient temple, an ancient alien temple, because it's all, as you can see, there's a big hole in the floor behind them that's basically crumbling. And they're basically emerging out of a hole in space as they keep traveling and teleporting around the multiverse. All right, let's go back to this and see what your opinion of it is. Oh, Buick Starpoon. Oh, wait, that's Singapore. You might be imprisoned for life in North Korea. Yeah, I know. All right, is BSB Buick Starpoon a dog catcher? Well, basically, he's going to be fighting the scum dogs. So, yeah, I guess Buick Starpoon has basically been promoted to be a dog catcher. Are you doing anything on poster board or all digitally? Basically, I'm just drawing it out with pencil and pen, and then inking it, and then I basically upload it to my computer and then color it in with the digital art and digital coloring and stuff. Yeah, I should get some poster board. Right now, I'm just using some regular. I'm just using paper, but big paper to draw up my artwork. Ethan Van Sciver did a video once, and I'm going to look into getting paper that would be best for making this kind of artwork on it. Rebel 86. That top panel with the dogs emerging from the scum force is great. I know. If you're wondering what the scum force is, WizGiz Entertainment, it's basically the energy the scum dogs use to power themselves. You see, one of the things that in the future that they did to make people turn into monsters is basically, as they engineered them, they basically allowed them to tap into this force. It's basically a parody of the Force from Star Wars, and basically a more cruddier version of the dark force of a dark side of the force. Basically, it's all the negative feelings and, well, like pin-up farts that people have on their, you know, how people basically, it's the same energy that people feel when they say that someone else farted in a elevator. No, it wasn't me. It was that guy over there. You know, the real negative and potentially harmful feelings that you get when you're basically jealous of someone, and basically you'll say his girlfriend dumped him to his face, or whether the guy would actually sleep with his girlfriend and then tell him to his face that I actually slept with your girlfriend. She's not that faithful to you, man, and I happily did it to you. I'm just trying to find something funny here to say about this. Basically, all the real negative, most inane and mean feelings you get compose the scum dog force. You know, as well as all the stupidity of pity that you can possibly get from basically being stupid and evil. It basically tap into this force, and they can use it to do basically gives them the same kind of powers that Toon Force in a cartoon would have to a cartoon character. It should be very fun to watch when they end up fighting Buick Starpoon and his own crew. Now, I can't tell you that much about the crew for Buick Starpoon's crew, but I will tell you what the latest character, and I will have art of her eventually. Girl Friday. You know, there's always the Girl Friday type of character. Well, I decided to do an anti-version of that. Her name is actually the cringe force, kind of. Yep, pretty much. Hot Rebel 86. Uneasy feelings are scummy. Yeah. But as I was saying about Girl Friday, she's basically his second in command, and she was only put there because, well, Supreme Commander Babyfist still doesn't trust Buick Starpoon. He thinks he's an idiot, but he gets things done. So he put Girl Friday there to watch him, and she hates working under him. She would prefer to basically order him around, but basically he can't. Buick Starpoon is a captain, so he can't really have someone basically over him watching him constantly. So he put Girl Friday there to watch him, and she hates Buick Starpoon's guts. She's no Girl Friday. She's just named Girl Friday, and she basically constantly in the background, even though she's nodding, saying yes, she really hates his guts, and she might occasionally drop the one-liner insulting him. WizGiz Entertainment. Is this sort of like a mirror or parallel of Ghostbusters? Ill's emotion pink slime. Ooh, you mean for sloppy? Well, basically, or you mean the Scumdog Force? Pretty much. It basically can do the same insane things. Basically, the Scumdogs tap into this force, and they can transform their bodies or become more powerful, as well as with Deathmug being able to send eye beams out of his eyes and breathe fire out of his mouth. He can also transform himself into a more superpowered form. Appreciate you're taking the time to explain all this. Your book story is all new to me. Thank you. And when I have this book out on Indiegogo, I'll be sure to promote it and basically tell you all about it. Right now, the artwork for the second part of the graphic novel looks good. Basically, it's going to be a 66-page graphic novel that's going to be up to 80 pages with all the technical stuff. I'm going to put in, pin-ups, as well as basically having what I did to work on the characters and show basically show the kind of what I did to design the characters. This time when I say, sorry. I thought you were doing a joke on basically, how I said ill looked like 2 to me. You meant Ghostbusters 2. I figured you meant Ghostbusters 2, but I didn't know if you meant that basically symbol there meant you were basically making a joke how you couldn't read ill. Thank you, WizGiz Entertainment. Yeah, Ghostbusters 2. I thought you were just sneaking in as a joke and stuff or something. My phone's dying. BRB. My phone's dying. You getting out of the chat with Hot Rebel 86, that's fine. We'll see you later. But if you're not, just keep hanging on and stuff. But thank you for joining us for this live stream while you had the chance. We're going to go to at least to an hour and 20 minutes, and we still got a few minutes left to keep talking and having fun. WizKids Entertainment, RB, be right back. Oh, that's what he meant. Be right back. Yeah, cell phone talk is kind of new to me. I don't really do all that much texting. I prefer to use my computer to basically use Twitter and stuff. I think Hot Rebel 86 is going to get a phone charger or something. Probably. But thank you for telling me what BRB is, WizKids Entertainment. Be right back. All right. As I said, I don't really know all that much about, that kind of language for cell phone talk. I heard about it and stuff like that, but I don't really use my cell phone for using Twitter all that much. I mostly just use my computer here when I'm on Twitter promoting and stuff. All right, let's see. Let's see these moves like that. There's this. We could take a look at this trailer here and see how good it is. But maybe we'll wait till Hot Rebel 86 is back. Let's take a look and see if we can't find any more Indiegogos to look at. There's the Volutionist. I can't really read Volution. I can't really read this word here. I can read Doug TenNapel's Bigfoot Bill graphic novel, Voluntarist Origins 3, whatever that is. Voluntarist. All right. I can't seem to read that word. I've never seen it before. Oh, we have Shrinkage, a sci-fi comedy extravaganza. It seems to have ended its campaign. I'll try to keep this stuff that's new. Or we could also look at some other stuff. There's tabletop games. I've looked at stuff. I don't see. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should do this. Show more. There's a tabletop game I thought was interesting called Lost Marginay. Lost Marginay. I know it's a word and stuff like that. It's basically that word that you use when you're describing a circus's pack of animals. And I just can't seem to read it. The Book of Dark Secrets, Ascendant. I can't read here. I just have trouble with some of these weird words. I know what the word means, and I just have trouble pronouncing this word. Menagerie. That's what it is. Lost Menagerie. I always have trouble with this word. Even when people say it, I have trouble saying it. Menagerie. Let's drop the first. I think Hot Rebel is all right. Drop the ist first. Then they say the word voluntarist. Oh, voluntarist. That's still a weird word. Voluntarist. Menagerie. Yeah. I saw that word before you had to say it to me, so I read it first before you actually said it to me, WizKids Entertainment. But yeah, I was able to say menagerie by myself. But yeah, I hardly ever use this word. And whenever I've seen people say it or use it and write it down, I can never actually seem to pronounce this word. But I know what it means, menagerie. I just have trouble actually pronouncing it occasionally. Do you know, WizKids Entertainment, do you know about Warhammer 40,000? If you know about Warhammer 40,000, though, do you know about Bruva Alafusa's, basically, if the Emperor had a speech-to-text device? Basically, this guy's doing his own versions of the, fabulous Pillar Guardians. They're basically they're basically actual models of the custodes from the custodes that Bruva Alafusa specifically made for his own parody show and stuff for if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device. So as you can see here, he took the characters of these three guys that are basic, as well as from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Pillar Men. these custodes are very much like the Pillar Men from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And no, I do not read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I have read about it, and I know about the Pillar Men. Basically, they're like they're fab and sort of very fey man characters who have all these muscles, and they're funny as heck to basically learn about. So basically, he made models, and you can buy these models. He's already made $89 and $318 for it, so you can buy these. I don't know. I think this is how he can make this and basically not be sued by Games Workshop is amazing. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized it. This is basically pillar of a parody. Yes, these guys are all custodes, but they're basically parody characters, so they're not actually owned by Games Workshop, because he's just making models of these characters. Even if they say they're custodes, you can see they're pretty much different from all of the custodes that Games Workshop actually makes. They're similar, though. Now let's go over here, see if anything has up. Not quite, let's see my name. No, not quite. Voluntary. As I can see, I've never read that word before, and I'm even having trouble pronouncing it. Is that a remake of Warhammer 30,000, Warhammer 40,000? No, I'm not familiar with that project. Similar values Bitcoin about as much as he values his neighbor Kumquats. He's reckless. Smiler. Either way, WizKids Entertainment. Well, Bruva Alafusa. If I maybe I should show you this if I can, like here. Let's see. Let's go to Bruva Alafusa's channel. He does a parody series of he makes his own parodies. Whoops, wrong thing. Bruva Alafusa. He does a parody of Warhammer 40,000, and he makes his own little series here. Warhammer 40,000 to the Dark Millennium. If the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, Episode 1, Adorable Centurion. Basically, this is what happens if the Emperor was given a speech-to-text device, something that he basically uses his mind to basically speak with this little device that basically he then uses to basically ridicule and make fun of his followers, because basically his followers, the High Lords of Terra, as well as his custodes, his own protectors, have let the entire Imperium become a theocratic totalitarian nightmare. So he basically goes around insulting them. And it's a really funny series. If you don't know about it, it's under the, YouTube channel named Bruva Alafusa. And he makes some incredibly great cartoons parodying Warhammer 40,000. It's a really funny series. And the Pillar Guardians are basically taking the concept of the Pillar Men from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and basically making parodies of them by crossing them over with the custodes. So basically, instead of wearing body armor, they go around in basically loincloths, being as gay and fabulous as possible. And basically, the Emperor just makes fun of them. He also makes fun of his sons, the Primarchs. As you can see, one of the Primarchs that was basically been shown is basically, I can't remember his name. She's just on the tip of my tongue. Dorn, yeah, Primarch of the Iron Hands. No, yeah, the Iron Hands. Dorn, as well as having basically brought back Magnus the Red into the fold and basically making him part of the Emperor of the Imperium again. Basically has them basically act like a squabbling family and stuff. It's really funny. Little Smiler, right? This gives entertainment. Mike S. Smiler. You mean, yeah, Mike S. Miller. I knew who you were talking about here, Smiler. I know. I've heard about him and about how his troubles with Comicsgate and how he's basically been insulting Ethan Van Sciver as well as the other Comicsgaters like Dan Fraga and Cecil. Thank you again, WizKids Entertainment. It's fine here. As you said, I filled you up on Bruva Alafusa and how his own channel there is basically just a parody version of Warhammer 40,000. It's really funny to look at. And if you didn't know about it, you should probably take a look at it because you'd really enjoy the speech-to-text device series. It's a really funny series. Right, let's see. Right, we could look at some more of these. As you can see, my stream is fun, and even and I don't mind my own chat basically popping in occasionally and giving me some good ideas to talk about here. We've looked at some, tabletop games here. Let's see if I can't bring up any other comics. Maybe if I do comic books, maybe I can get something to come up. Oh, maybe I should have tabletop. Let's try that again. Comic books. If I can't mix it up a bit, if we can't bring... we still have Robotoad, Etherman Scaver, Cyberfrog 2, Wrecked Planet, which is still sitting at 638, 953. Trying to bring it... I looked at Gauntlet Warriors issue 1 yesterday. Day and stuff. The artwork is good. Not the best artwork I've seen. As you can see, it's on the more scale of being... Basically, more on the scale of being... not as good as other Comicsgate projects, but it's got good artwork. Not the best I've seen, but good artwork. As you can see, he can actually draw, but if you actually look at the actual artwork itself, it's not the best I've seen. But either way, that was Gauntlet Warriors issue 1 comic book from Kirk Hatfield. He's made a rather decent comic book, with some decent artwork. If you want to fund it, that's fine. He's looking, though I have my doubts that it's actually going to make 7,500 flexible gold, because I think he's asked too much money for this. Now, he might have been able to fund this with maybe $500 because he's already at 25 USD. But I think he's asked too much for this book. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. I should probably give you an idea of what it's about. Overview. Gauntlet Warriors, a story about a group of Gauntlet Warrior fighters competing in tournaments around the world to become the world's Gauntlet champion. A story that I have been building up for over a decade, and now I finally get the chance to draw it out and tell the story in the form of a comic book. The story starts out with the Gauntlet Warrior champion Nova preparing for his next challenge in a tournament that is held inside the Tokyo Dome, but lurking in the shadows is Nova's archenemy, the possessor of the Blackstone and newly turned demon, Randon. In the first issue, you see how Nova gets affected by the dark power of the Blackstone, and in future issues, see how he deals with the struggle of this evil as he tries not to let it affect the people closer to him. Also, follow along Noriko and Leon's journey as they get involved with these Gauntlet Warrior heroes, going through one tough challenge to the next. Yeah, you see it? It looks like a fine book, but there are other ones I think are more deserving of being funded. But I just wanted to give you something for you guys to look at. It's been a while since I looked at I was just thinking about reading the sample for the Dragon Guard. There's also Xenotype Volume 1, which is another book with the great artwork. Let's see. Still waiting for newer books to come up. Let's see what happens. Maybe if I do this, I get something to come up. Let's go back over this is. 4OK is cool, and it's kind of ooky spooky, like Tim Burton's Batman or something. Yeah, but a lot more manly. Tim Burton is manly, but not as manly as Warhammer 40,000. Mike S. Miller from Hoth Rebel A6 is in the Cash Grab trailer too. Yeah, I know. He's one of those guys that gets beaten up. Whiskey's Entertainment reminds me of Street Fighter style artwork. I know. Gauntlet Warriors does have that kind of feel to it. The artwork is good. Not the best I've seen, but I would say this guy definitely, if he keeps at it, could make it one hell of a comic book someday. But either way, it looks good enough for an indie comic. Whiskey's Entertainment, maybe we should look at his other campaign. Do you mean Mike S. Miller, or do you mean Gauntlet Warriors? And see if this other one is fulfilled and how well he did. Xenotype looks like it'll end in 10 days. Yeah, I heard it's going to end too. I've heard good things about it. We'll take a look at that. Well, after we take a look at well, I guess I have to go back over here to where we were. If I can bring it up again. Let's see. It says he has another campaign, huh? 2 campaigns. Let's see about it. Let's view profile. Let's see at his campaigns. Gauntlet Warriors 1, Gauntlet Warriors issue book. The GWC turn is about to begin, and the first rundown is something in store for our CGO companion. And the first rundown is something. Ooh, he has 2 campaigns. It looks like he's basically, his first campaign didn't work out, but he's basically relaunched it again. It looks like the same book. This is Presence of Evil. Okay, let's take a look at this. 0 USD of 1,875 flexible gold. The other one says it's still opening. Yeah, let's see. Anything down here to look at? Oh, the actual artwork, it looks, well, as you can see, as I said, not the best, but definitely good enough for an indie comic. Yeah, it does look like Street Fighter. And as I said, that guy does have talent. But either way, let's, since this from Kirk Hatfield, we took a look at it. Thank you for saying that we should. We have an idea now what the actual comic will look like inside. But let's go over to, let's try to find Xenotype. There's Xenotype. It has 10 days left. It's made $533. And the artwork for this book is good. As you can see, that's the cover. I kind of like the black and white for the first page of Xenotype, but he's going to end up coloring. It looks like a manga, very good-looking manga. As I said, here's the black and white sample he gave. We see this guy running away from this monster that's chasing him. He finds that he's in a dead-end alley. He gets up close to the wall. The monster gets closer. He screams for help. The monster comes closer. The monster grabs the trash can the guy was trying to hide behind, sort of. The monster grabs it, and then basically the guy's screaming, and the monster kills him. You see the monster transform back into a human, and all the artwork here is good. It looks like something you'd see in this actually looks like great artwork for this book. Definitely one of the better ones out there for Comicsgate. You see our main hero waking up to start his day. He's about to go to school. You see him brushing his teeth and dressing. He grabs his art portfolio. Apparently he's an aspiring artist. You see him go out, and you see him start skating down, or rather traveling down his stairs. And you see the art here is good. This is the artwork for Xenotype. And you're going to see he's actually going to color it, all of it in, and the artwork looks good here, especially colored. See the monster better now that it's been colored. You see the guy transform back into a human, and you see our main protagonist again waking up and preparing himself. All right. That was Xenotype Volume 1, Evolve or Die, from Liam Gray. All right. All right. Gauntlet Warrior, I've heard. All right. Gauntlet Warrior, you were making predictions of whether it would make its goal. Well, he wants $7,500 now, and he's only made $25. Ouch! This closed with 0 backers. Yeah, I think he reopened his comic book there. He must not have promoted his book or built up an audience. I think he should have set his goal at the minimum, which I think is 500. Yep, instead of immediately jumping over 1,000 on the first one. But what do I know? I've never released a book. No, but I can pretty much tell this guy made mistakes. I don't think he promoted his book, and pretty much he made the goal too big. Did you know I've had Mike Barron on my show? He did a new book himself, Offworlder. Now, he was going to basically do it as a graphic novel. Let's see if I can't bring up Offworlder. But basically, the campaign failed, and this is from Mike Barron, a guy who's basically very well known in the comic book community, basically working on comic books like Nexus and stuff. Dang it. Wait, I didn't bring it up. Maybe if I do that. Try that. Oh. The campaign for it's already closed, but basically Mike Barron was going to redo this book. He's going to release it now as issues instead of the whole thing at once or so. Or something similar. Comic book. I don't see it. Did he take it down? Well, either way, it doesn't matter. It has incredibly good looking artwork. We might be able to find it if I keep scrolling down here. Let's see. I mean, it has good artwork, but he didn't promote it. He didn't know anything about promoting a comic book online. So basically, the campaign failed for it. Right, let's see. This doesn't look like I can find it. That's the problem with the Indiegogo. Times you just have trouble finding anything on it. Wait a minute. What if I do this? Worlder. See if I can't bring it up now. Here it is. Mike Barron's Offworlder. From comics great Mike Barron, drawn by Offworlder by Mike Barron and Jody Armingo from L. Lee Stewart. As you can see, the artwork here is good. It's written by Mike Barron, who's a writer. It's basically about have you ever heard of Exo Man of War? How basically a guy from the 5th century who was basically a Celtic warrior basically got Iron Man armor from an alien. This is about how a bunch of aliens invade 5th century Europe and are basically fighting barbarian Celtics and soldiers around that time. Basically a bunch of tribes having to fight aliens. The thing basically recently closed. You can see one of the barbarians here, and you see some of the aliens. The artwork is really good for it. Good on it. Here's a close-up of the cover. It sounds. I think I found it in search. I've searched for Offworlder without Offworlder without the quotes. First search result. Is that the one you're talking about? If so, the campaign is closed. I know. I tried saying it. The campaign for Mike Barron's comic book is closed, but basically, much like Gauntlet Warriors, Mike Barron was going to reopen this campaign later on. Basically, I heard he's basically going to make it individual issues. One of the things, if you look at this comic book, they wanted $20,000 for a fixed goal right off the bat, and this is from a man who's been in the comics industry for over 40 years. As you can see, he only made $7,397. Now, if he had set his goal for $500, he might have been able to get this book right off the bat. But basically, he didn't promote it, and he still did pretty well, I'd have to say. But he basically asked for way too much money. But either way, he's going to basically take the book off Indiegogo and retool the project and release all 3 issues as their own individual comics and try to get them up like that, and basically see if he can't sell it that way. I think he should have probably maybe done the project over again and just do the same thing, but basically wait for after he has enough following online to get people to go look at it. I think what he's got here looks good enough for a graphic novel. Here's another cover for the book. And see the artwork inside is really good looking. Very good looking artwork. All right, let's go back here. I heard about Exo Man of War, but the cover never grabbed me, so I didn't give it a chance. And you shouldn't, because guess what? Heather Antos, or another of those milkshake girls, is now writing Exo Man of War and has completely destroyed the book. I'm only comparing to Exo Man of War because it has a similar theme about, an ancient warrior who basically ends up getting involved with aliens. With Exo Man of War, he gets kidnapped by aliens and he ends up finding this suit of armor they created, and he uses it to kill the aliens. Here we have aliens invading 5th century Earth and fighting barbarians and Celtic warriors. I talked about this, and since there's a similar premise, both books sound very similar to each other. As a 4th 16, he's going to explore how to rework the campaign, then give it a go on Kickstarter. I know, that's why we had him on my stream about last weekend and stuff. As per the updates tab of this closed campaign for Offworlder, I know he's going to try and basically retool the whole thing, as I said, and try to get it up again. He really should basically just keep the book as it is and just try to get more people to know about it so he can release the book as what it was. I think it should be a graphic novel rather than just basically being individual issues. But then again, it's his project, and I'm not the one telling him how to run it. Because I find the idea of the graphic novel for this basically being perfect, but this is his own book, and releasing it as issues, well, it's worked for, Richard Meyer, who's basically done the same thing and has made a buttload of money with it. So I have hopes that Mike Barron is probably doing the right thing for this book. Did he ask you for advice on how he might improve his campaign? Well, I did say that he needs to get more people subscribed to him on a YouTube channel and build up a following on Twitter and stuff. That's basically what I told him. He also need to appear on more live streams, which is what I'm doing right now and stuff. Trying to get as many people as possible to look at this. And basically, we've been live streaming for 1 hour and 30 minutes. We really should basically be thinking about ending this live stream. We've all had a really good time. And I can't thank you enough, WizGiz Entertainment, for joining me tonight, as well as Hoth Rebel 86. Did he rejoin us at all? Let's see here. No, it doesn't look like he's come back. I mean, he hasn't approved. Good advice. Thank you, WizGiz Entertainment. Yeah. I know. Good show. He's here. Oh, he did. Hoth Rebel 86, great show. Thank you. He did. Yeah, he's here. I'm going to thank you both for joining me tonight. And thank you all for joining me. This has been a great live stream. And now, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you. Also, subscribe to me on Twitter at 777megachris1. Also, subscribe to my BitChute channel and library channel. They're both under the name Comic Freak. And now I'm going to plug for a couple of YouTube channels who I think deserve to be plugged more. One, remember, go and subscribe to Robot Co-op. You can find them on YouTube by putting in their channel name, Robot Co-op. And subscribe to these guys. They're funny as hell. And also, subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Creepy Little Book live streams every night, and they talk about the weird and strange things that happen in the world. Ghosts and aliens. Subscribe to them. These guys are great. Also, Hell Scumdogs, bow woof woof. I'm Chris Williams saying from the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. This has all been a great live stream tonight, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another live stream at 6 o'clock. I hope you all join me again as we talk about comic books and have a fun time. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye.